Hi friends! In today's video, I wanted to go over my new favorite type of plugin, which is a text review plugin. It's a great type of plugin because it allows you to encode your content design decisions directly into Figma without relying on any third-party tools, and it works just like a spell check would. So to demonstrate, let's say I have these 3 words here. And let's say that as a team, we decided that when we write login, we want to maintain sentence case. So what this plugin would do, it would catch if somebody is writing login within capitalized, and it would suggest you to change it to login. And then you can also use this for things like making sure that everyone spells the company name or the name of your products correctly. For example, MailChimp, you're supposed to spell it with uppercase M. So the plugin would suggest you to update MailChimp with lowercase m. And then you can also use this plugin to catch things that you don't want to be written at all, like click here, which is a very common type of link, but it's not descriptive or accessible. And yes, this is probably like stretching the plugin to its limits, and it's not an intended way to use this plugin, but you can still use it to throw an error of sorts. So in this tutorial, we'll be going over how you can build a plugin like this. And of course, it's helpful if you already have some experience with plugins. And if you don't and you would like an introduction, I have another video for that. To get started, we're going to create a new plugin. We'll go to Plugins, Development, and New Plugin. We can just do it for Figma Design. You can call it however you would like. You can leave the Run Once option selected. Save it wherever you would like. Then you're going to open your VS Code or whichever editor you use. Drop your folder, and let's open our terminal to set up a few things. The first thing we need to do is to install our typings, and then we're going to compile our code. And so what we're going to do now, we're just going to test our plugin to make sure that the template that comes by default works. So let's find our plugin. And so the template, it just prints 5 orange rectangles on the screen, and we can see that it worked. Now what you're going to do is we're going to delete all of that, and we're going to go into our manifest file, and there's something that we want to add here under the capabilities. We're going to put text review. So that's just going to let the plugin know that this is a text review plugin, and it's going to have a different functionality than the regular plugin. Then from here, I'm going to go and grab this gist, which I'm going to leave the link to, so you can grab it as well. And we're going to copy that, paste it inside our code file. And I'll briefly go over this piece of code, but just remember that the part that's going to be the most important is this patterns part here, because this is where we'll be putting like all the words that we want to scan for and then the suggestions. But outside of that, what this plugin does is that it jumpstarts the plugin. It checks whether there is any text to scan for. Then it also checks whether the plugin itself is enabled or not. And if it's not, it's going to throw a little modal and ask you to enable it. So it's more of the logic for actually making sure that the plugin runs. And then in this section, as I said before, it will have all of the patterns or like words that you're looking for. And then this function iterates through all of the patterns, and it looks at the text that you have on the screen, and it tries to find those patterns. And if it does, it's going to throw that little underline and the suggestion. And so right now in this patterns array, I only have one thing, which is the login. The regular expression we're looking for is the login string, and we are checking for the case. So we're specifically looking for instances where n is capitalized. And then we're going to suggest login with lowercase I. Then this last bit here, the color is the color of the underline. It can be green, red, or blue. So if you want to divide your suggestions into different categories and give them different colors, you can. But for now, let's go back to our Figma, delete that. And the first thing that we need to do is to actually turn the plugin on. And the good thing is that once you do it once, it's going to work across all of your Figma files. So we're going to return to our plugins. And now when you click it, because we have updated the plugin, we now say that it has the capabilities of a text review plugin. It's now throwing us this modal, and it asks us use the text review. and you're just going to do use. Now let's see, we're going to type in our login with uppercase I, and you can see that when I have this text node selected, it gives me an underline. And when I click on it, there is the name of the plugin with a suggestion to update it to login. Now what we can do is add a couple more examples. So first, one of the examples that I gave at the beginning was the MailChimp one. So what I'm going to do is copy, and then in this regular expression part, we're going to write to MailChimp. And then suggestion is going to be MailChimp with uppercase M. Now we can go back, write MailChimp, and it's going to suggest you to capitalize it. But maybe there are a couple other incorrect spellings of MailChimp that we'd be looking for. For example, something like this, which I think is how MailChimp used to be spelled, but now it's just the uppercase M. So we want to catch this one as well. What you're going to do, instead of creating a new entry, you can add it directly in here with a separator. And now it should give us, again, a suggestion to correct it for MailChimp. To finish this example up, another spelling that you may want to look for is if MailChimp is spelled with a dash in between or something like that. And for that one, we will actually create a new entry. And the reason for that is that in this case, we're not specifically looking for different capitalization, but we're really looking for this dash. And it doesn't matter whether it's spelled like this or like this or like this. No matter what the spelling is, we want it to be case insensitive, and we just want to correct it to this. So for that reason, I'm going to remove that, and let's just do mail-chimp, and we're going to add an I here at the end to signify that this should be case insensitive. And then once again, we're going to correct it to the correct spelling. And so now, no matter how I decide to spell it, it will suggest to me the correct version. So as you can see, you can put anything that you want in here. Of course, you'll not be able to represent all of your content decisions with this method alone, because the spelling of some things really depends on context, and this does not look at context, it just looks for either or type of spellings. But regardless of that, consistent spelling is a problem for probably every company out there, and if you're able to solve that directly inside the tool where designers or content editors already are, and you're able to improve the consistency of spelling across your app, that's already a huge win. Let's do one more example. So here on the MailChimp style guide, they have a word list. Some of this, like I just said, are context specific, but then some things, for example, like, okay, they want to spell it always uppercase, and this is definitely something that you can add. So we'll copy to like, okay, and we want it to be casing sensitive and correct it to okay. So now we get the underline and the suggestion. And that's pretty much the plugin. So when you go to publish it, if you have professional plan or enterprise plan, you should be able to publish this plugin privately so that only people at your company are able to find it and use it, and so that it doesn't clutter the general Figma community space. The cool thing about being able to publish the plugin privately on either of those plans is the fact that you don't have to wait for it to get approved. It just gets published right away. But even if you don't have these plans, don't worry about this plugin being like super specific to your use case. You can still publish it on Figma community, which I've done when I worked at companies where I had very specific use case, but our team would be too small to have an organization or enterprise plan. I was very worried that the plugins that I tried to publish would not get approved because of how specific they are, but they still got approved. So if that's your concern, I would not be concerned about that. Anyway, that's it. I will leave this code snippet in the description below. I hope this was useful, and until next time, bye-bye.